Okay, so today we have a pedal that maybe not all of you have seen or heard about before. It's called the Dumbloid. The one I'm holding at the moment is just like a Chinese copy of the original pedal, which I believe is made by something called Shin's Music or something like that. In Japan, they're handmade and like really high quality boutique pedals. They're kind of copying it, so I'm not endorsing that you like buy clones or something like that, but like, you know, but buy whatever you think is appropriate for you. Fengzai pedal. So it's like a blatant copy. It looks about the same, it's just a different color scheme, and I just wanted to test it out. Let's check out the insides and see if it's like well built. Alright, so revealing the insides here. It is definitely a hand-built pedal. It's just, you know, made on a PCB, which is perfectly fine. This seems to be the version 2, as this maker calls it. There's not a lot in here, so I think we should just go and check out what this Dumbloid pedal sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a clean tone, which is running through this Quad Cortex here with a Mesa Boogie Lonestar amplifier, which takes pedals really nicely. So at the moment it's very clean like this. So with the pedal, I'm going to have everything set at noon. I have turned down the volume just a little bit because it is quite a loud pedal. This is kind of like a, you know, low, medium-ish gain type tone. Again, the clean tone. And the pedal. So very pleasing gain sound, I think. It's very smooth, very nice. We'll go through the accent and the tone controls and see what they do, and then go through the jazz and the rock switch to see what that does. Let's maybe like tweak just like the volume and the gain a little bit and see what kind of range we have there. So let's go for like less drive, more volume, and then like vice versa. So with all of this gain, I'm going to see what the accent and the tone knobs do, because I assume that with all of this drive going, those controls will be the most audible with more gain. So let's start with the accent. Let's turn it all the way down and see what happens here. So what I've noticed so far is that the tone seems to do pretty much what you expect it to do. It makes the pedal darker, it makes it brighter, depending on the way you turn it. But it also seems to affect a bit of the gain staging, or like the amount of gain. So it seems like the tone knob is probably placed somewhere in the circuit so that it actually affects the amount of gain depending on how much tone you dial in. So when you make it brighter, you have more gain, or like more, I don't know, like more frequencies being driven. So it seems like, yeah, you're getting a lot more drive. The accent is kind of a bit harder to kind of figure out properly. So I think with a little bit like brighter tone, we can see that when I turn down the accent, it gets darker. And when I turn it up, it gets brighter. But also a little bit nastier, I guess. If it's like, for me, it's kind of like as if you were to push an amp further. So the accent seems to kind of affect the gain as well, and the brightness, but in a different way than the tone. The tone is a bit more conventional, I think, but the accent is more, it is definitely accenting, I guess, the drive. So with it, you can even hear it when I turn it up and down. So it definitely does affect the gain. Let's try another amp. Let's try the Fender Twin. Okay, so what I'm testing here is I'm kind of pushing the amp a bit now, well, quite a bit. I'm using the volume with less drive, bit of a brighter tone. I switched to the rock setting, which seems to kind of affect the low end a little bit and it makes it a bit more rock and roll, I guess, with more highs. That's the only thing I can kind of think of. I want to try out the JCM 800, which should be driven quite nicely with this, I hope. Seems to me like this pedal can be tailored to quite a lot of different scenarios. On its own, you can hear that the pedal, you know, if you just want to use it like a drive pedal, kind of like, you know, it gets some kind of mellowish drive. I think it's an awesome pedal. Does it sound like a Dumble? I have no idea. It's called a Dumbloid. It is a circuit that kind of at least gives you some, what I think is a amp-like distortion, more than a distortion pedal-like distortion, if that makes any sense. It's like, it has the, I guess, imperfections of an amplifier. So what it does is like when it's really loud, it just kind of reacts
crazy when you turn up, you know, the master volume or the gain or something. So like the pedal does a little bit like that. So usually with distortion pedals, they sound a bit perfect. It's like you just turn up the gain, it just turns up the volume, there's no difference but the amount of volume and the gain, you just get more gain and everything's just like perfect, but more of whatever you're turning up. This one is kind of like reacting a lot to the way you set it, the way you play into it. Is it loud? Are you playing loud? Are you playing quiet? Are you playing it into a clean amp or a dirty amp? It's like, I don't know, I feel like you can do a lot with this pedal, both in terms of it being like a distortion drive-ish type pedal, or as a booster with a little bit of grit. So please comment, share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Tell me what you think about the pedal in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in another video.